Okay. Alexa, volume down. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Sitting Down with Robin. As I promised, we're here with some folk from the LGBT community that are near and dear to me, Amari and Winstina. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Season's greetings.
Yes.
And thank you for stopping by Sitting Down with Robin.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so I want to dive right into this. This is going to be a Q&A. Answer what you can. If you don't want to answer something, just say, I'm not going to answer that. All right?
Okay.
First of all, for those who are unaware, can you tell us what LGBT stands for?
Yep. So it stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. And there's also IA at the end, which stands for intersex and asexual. So LGBTQIA.
Okay, so I think that means LGBTQ plus, because I understand there's a LGBTQ plus. That must mean plus, right?
The extra,
correct
too, but yeah.
Okay, so now the next question I want to ask you, and I really want to know this, and I know other people want to know this, but you want to try and get people to understand. What do you both identify as? Because it's so confusing it was confusing to me, but I do my research because like I said, you guys are near and dear to me and your family. So I do my research, but for those who don't know, what do you identify as? First, I'm going to go with Winstina. What do you identify as?
So I identify as a queer woman, and my pronouns are she, her. So, yeah.
I identify as queer. So I identify as somebody who is non-binary. So my gender identity expression is outside of the binary. So I identify as, my pronouns are he, him, she, her. So I'm all pronouns, and I am fluid. So I do not identify. So I am a fluid queer person who is also identifies as non-binary.
I love that. You know, when people say queer, back in the day, we used to say queer, but queer means something totally different with this, right?
Yeah, queer is a spectrum. Queer can mean a lot of different things. It can be very fluid. Your sexuality can be fluid. It could be your gender expression is fluid. It can mean various things to different types of people.
Okay, I get it. When did you first learn about yourselves? Stina, when did you learn about who you were?
Wow. I would say like high school. I think that's when I first started to realize that I was interested in women. And that's when I started to explore. So I would say high school.
Okay. Amari?
Yeah, it was also high school. It was freshman year, started to explore my sexuality and question some things and kind of solidified, okay, I do like females around sophomore year. And from then I started dating females and identified as pretty much just myself, someone who liked females, because I never actually said I was a lesbian or that I was bisexual or anything. I just I like females. And that started in high school. And a little later, I started to explore my actual identity more of who I am and who I identify as. So I still just identify as a queer person, still no labels other than that, or just myself of really coming to terms with who I am. So, it was a process of my sexual orientation through high school, kind of solidifying that into my gender identity more so a little later, college, a little after college.
Wow, that's very interesting. All right, so this is going to lead me to my next question. Do you feel that your sexuality is innate? Do you feel this is natural? Do you think this is something you're born with, or is it learned behavior? Because you're kind of telling me that it's learned behavior from your atmosphere. And I always thought it was something you were born into. Do you guys feel that? What do you think?
I personally think you are born that way. I think you're born who you are. I think that you come into this world who you are. And I think that for the most part, most people are born, however they identify now. But I think that some people do transition later in life. But for the most part, I do feel like it's something that you are born as.
What do you feel?
I think there are different ways to arrive at this. I think that some people are very open-minded. They want to explore. And that's something that they try to do later in life, and they realize this is something that they like. I think some people are born with it. I think some people have experiences that make them want to try it. I think that there are different explanations to get to this point, and there's no wrong or right way.
Right.
It is nature and nurture.
Okay, that's real. I believe that as well. I really do. So, how did your family adjust to this, or have they?
So for me, yes, majority of my family has adjusted. I think it was difficult for my mom in the beginning, but I think having someone like Amari it's helped her open up with the idea. But for the most part, my family has adjusted and has been very accepting of my life.
Yeah. I'm definitely blessed to say that I have a very supportive family and supportive circle just around me. Growing up, I always have had family and close family friends who supported my journey. So I'm just blessed, and my family was very accepting, and I'm just like so grateful for that, because that is not everyone's truth. So yeah, I'm blessed.
Exactly. And I feel, yeah, I agree with that. And what do you want to say to those whose family, because there's people out here listening right to us right now. What do you want to say to those who are not being supported? Because this is something tough for people to actually admit. I think less and less nowadays, and we'll get to that later. But what do you want, and what suggestions or tips or helpful hints you can give them to keep them strong, who are going against family who are not as supportive as your families were?
I think for me, the fastest thing, the tip that I can give them is to find your tribe, to find your community very fast.
Right.
As soon as you feel that you are different, quote unquote, it's time to find people that are just like you, right? Because that's where you find your new family and the ones who will be able to support you on your journey, whatever that journey may be. And so I think that's with anything in your life. As soon as you have a purpose, as soon as you have a passion, you find your tribe. You find the people who are going to support whatever it is that you're into. So that can apply to anything outside of just sexual orientation or gender identity.
Yep. Yeah, I co-sign everything.
Okay. So you agree with everything that Winstina just said?
Yeah, because there's always going to be a support system out there, and there's family out there, even if that's not your own blood. So it's just a matter of finding the people who you can depend on and be supported by, and find your group of people.
How does a person go about that? Finding a support system.
The internet. Everyone has access to it. It is free. Social media. There are Facebook groups, there's Instagram groups, hashtags. There's so many resources out there for people who want to get more information and find a community that will help them. So I think we just have to figure out the best ways to utilize our resources.
Okay. I want to ask something though. I've always wondered about the term bisexual. Okay. It's sorry. Someone just, I thought I do not disturb. It's LGBT. B is bisexual.
Right.
So bisexual is where they like men and women.
Yes.
Is that confusing to the one that is not bisexual? What does that feel? What does the community feel about? I don't want to get you guys in trouble with that sector. I don't want you to get in trouble. What do you feel about the bisexual man or woman?
You know, I've evolved at where I feel about bisexuals now, because I feel like back in the day, or how when I growing up, I felt like bisexuals were like, oh, you're bisexual, like you're not somebody I want to deal with, or oh, you're confused. And there was a different thought process around bisexuals. But I think that when you grow and you mature, you learn that, you know, there is a spectrum of who you could love and who you could like and who you can fall for. So it's okay to be open to both male or female. And I'm okay with it, because if you identify as somebody who wants to date male and female, that's you. There should be no judgment on anyone else's parts. And
Right.
yeah, I think that for the person on the other side who they're dating just has to be okay with it, either whether they're bisexual themselves or they are somebody who identifies as just straight lesbian or just straight gay. They have to be okay with it and be secure in their relationship and in their own, you know, self.
True. I agree with that. How about you, Stina?
Yeah, I agree. I think someone's sexual orientation is just that. It's their sexual orientation. And I think we're too concerned about what people are doing in their bedroom. And I think the only thing that people need is honesty. When you meet someone, when you start to form a relationship with someone, you need to just be honest about your sexual history and what you're into. And that's a conversation that you have with someone you're being involved with. You don't have to explain that to me. I don't need to understand. I just need to respect you. And so I just think bisexuals are just someone else on the spectrum. They're just a part of our community as well. So.
Yep.
I love that answer. I love both answers. Now this is a big one. This is a big one. Christianity. All right. Me, myself, I say God made all of us. God made all of us. And for those who judge, please don't. Because God made you and he made you special. How does that make you feel when people say it's against Christianity? And I really mean that. I don't like when people say that. It's judgmental. And I believe God made, you are his special children. How does that fit in with you guys when people say things like that? Or do they say things like that to you?
Yeah. I don't get it directly to me as much, but when I see it or when I hear it or when I read it, it makes me really upset. It does actually like really enrage me, but it kind of just boils down for me, like they just don't actually believe, because if you actually believe God is God, then you know that God made all of his children.
Amen.
I just feel that that's sad, and you actually do not understand, and you don't have that relationship with your religion, with God, to actually understand that we are his children. So to me, it doesn't make it saddens me and it makes me angry, but at the same time, that's your own like ignorance. So you gotta just write it off.
I just think,
and it's true ignorance.
Yeah, I just think it's 2021, and for someone to be pointing a finger, it's almost laughable. I just think it's just I don't know. Everybody is a sinner. That's literally what we are, and you can't judge my sin versus your sin, because we're all performing some sort of act of sin, and we are all God's children, like you said. And I stand in my decision, and I have an amazing relationship with God, probably better than a lot of people I know. And so I feel like God is my friend, my best friend, and I don't have to explain that relationship to anyone but that person. That's the only person that I have to answer to. So
exactly.
Well, I always say, he who throws stones has no sins, and we all have sins. So those who want to judge us, judge you, judge anyone, they must have no sins at all. And no one on this planet Earth has no sins. We're all sinners.
Yeah,
and that doesn't mean because you're gay, you're a sinner. It doesn't mean that at all. You are God's special children. And I'm going to tell you that right now. Because God made you.
I believe that.
Amen. God has blessed you. You're both blessed. You're very successful. And I'm not even just saying financially, career-wise, spiritually.
Right.
So I praise God Almighty for you guys. The next question, how has this enhanced or stunted the process of your career, your growth with relationships? How has it enhanced you or stunted you? I see you two have not been stunted at all. So I should say, how has it enhanced your growth?
Yeah. I'm lucky enough and blessed enough to be in an industry that embraces diversity and embraces, all types of people. So I am someone who works at an organization that embraces my difference, wants me to self-express and teach our kids to do that. I'm an educator, and I have been for almost 10 years, and I'm just like in a good space. So I've actually feel like it's enhanced me because it's empowered me at the same time to live in my truth and be a figure for our kids and a representation for them. So I feel like it's enhanced me. I live in it and I love it, and I talk about it and I embrace it, and I try to push people's thinking with it. So think it's definitely enhanced my professional development of myself and my career, and I wouldn't change anything. And if I was somewhere and I didn't embrace it, I wouldn't be there, because that's not who I am. But yeah, I feel like it's enhanced me in all ways of my life.
Okay, that's awesome. And what about you, Winstina?
I think I'm a very private person, and I'm a little opposite. I don't really share that part of my life because, one, I'm private, and two, I just think it's nobody's business. If I wanted someone to know, that means that they're a part of my life. They're someone who I trust.
Okay.
So in my profession, it's not something I disclose all the time.
But you're not hiding it though.
Definitely not hiding it. No, definitely not hiding it.
Right.
It's just a little different. I think I come from a different background. My profession is very corporate, and it's just not something, I don't know. It's just something I've never brought to the table.
It's interesting though, because that's something that you can do, being somebody who is, feminine position, and you don't get questioned. Whereas someone like me, that's not really an option, because I have it kind of like wears on my sleeve. So it's different perspectives and different experiences, kind of also just based off rip when somebody just sees you coming in the door. So that's a privilege.
Right. That's very true. That's very true. But that's going to lead me to my next question. Do you think there are still a lot of people in the closet? And do you feel like the millennials are more apt to feel free and be able to express their sexuality and be more open than people of my generation?
Yeah, I think there will always be people in the closet. There will always be people who don't feel comfortable to express themselves and be open, even within themselves. So there will always be that. I think it's becoming more accepted, but it's still like it's still on a growing scale. So we're getting there. We're, as a people, these Gen Z kids and the younger millennials are, making a different statement than even my generation and our generation. But making a lot of strides, but there will always be people who do not feel comfortable yet, no matter how far we get.
And I think that's sad.
Yeah.
What do you think, Winstina?
Same thing. I agree. I think there are always going to be people in the closet, but obviously people are accepting more and more. They're accepting the LGBTQ community. So.
Right. Okay. Now, this is going to be a question. What challenges, because you guys, the community has come and strived to a lot. They've progressed so much over the last couple of years.
Right.
What challenges do you still see that you have to overcome?
Yeah.
Everything. I think everything is still challenging. It's going to take a while, I think.
At least we have marriage and civil unions now.
I feel like it's always on a cliff. I don't know. I feel like at any moment it could be gone. It doesn't feel.
It's like they can just take it away in that split second.
Yeah.
Change the president. Oh, your rights can be taken away.
Right.
Or So.
Well, let's hope not. But I'm gonna really say that I feel like the more couples that I see that are within this community are lasting longer than the heterosexuals.
That's true.
Really.
Less stress.
Yeah, it is true. And I love it. I love you guys. Even before my daughter Amari told me that she was gay, I had gay friends. So I understood it. But when she told me, I actually said, I'm going to research this and I'm going to find out about it and I'm going to embrace it. So I'm going to say one more question. This is on a lighter note. Why the rainbow? What do the colors in the flag truly represent?
We should know this, but I don't think we do.
We should know this, and we
I can tell you.
I know it's in the Milk book. I know it's in there.
Oh my gosh, don't even say anything else.
Well, I can tell you it represents peace. I had it written down just in case you guys didn't know. Hold on.
I like it. You did your research.
I did do research, and of course I can find it now. But let's see. Because I knew you guys were going to have the answer. Okay. The colors in the flag, the rainbow, and I love those colors in the rainbow. They're all my colors. Represent peace, which is pride. Social movement. Okay. Diversity. The flag is a symbol of gay pride. Peace, social movement, diversity. That's what the colors represent. Okay. So I really appreciate that you guys actually answered my questions.
Of course.
And as we always do at the end of Sitting Down with Robin, I introduce a business or a nonprofit organization. And today I'm going to introduce a young lady that I met over the holidays via her products. She has natural products and I love it. I fell in love with it. Her name is Crystal M. Stephens, founder of Lavished by Nature, LLC. I'm going to put her information on my page. You can reach her and you can find her on Instagram or Facebook at Lavished by Nature T. At Lavished by Nature. She specializes in beauty, cosmetics, and personal care. Her website is www.lavishedbynature.com. Her email is crystal@lavishedbynature.com. I want to say to you, Amari and Winstina, thank you so much for giving me this time. I love the LGBTQ community. And I'm always going to support. Happy New Year, everyone.
New Year.
2021. Wear your mask, social distance. Let's spread love, not COVID. Alexa, volume up.
Volume up. Follow me on Instagram at Amari_J.
Yeah, go ahead. Put it out there, Stina. Put your business out there.
I'm like shooting a blank. At Stina Bina, STINABEANAA.
Woo! Let's dance it out. Come on. Come on, Stina. Give me your love. Give me your love. Give me your love. Give me your love. Bye.
Bye.